The rear wheel is basically the same thing. Loosen the axle nut, support the motorcycle, loosen the drive chain adjusting bolt. I don't think that's going to be necessary. Push the rear wheel forward, derail the drivetrain from the sprocket, remove the axle nut, axle and rear wheel, remove the rear brake caliper bolt from the swing arm, then remove the rear wheel, remove the side collars. Note, do not operate the brake pedal after removing the wheel. Obviously that'll push the caliper piston out and it could dislodge it. You're going to take the same wrenches and loosen the axle nut and then slide out the axle. So once again, I'm going to use my foot to press down on this, and once I crack it, then I'll reach over and hold the 14mm steady. One thing I am going to do, because I might have to take these adjusters loose, is I'm going to mark where I was on my adjusters for easy reinstallation. Okay, so once you're content with your adjusters being marked, you just take your axle nut off. And at this point, it's not going to be easy to pull out. So you're going to have to lift the rear of the bike up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and use a floor jack to do that. I don't have a motorcycle stand, so I'm just going to have to figure out any old way to do this. And any old way to do this is to take a simple floor jack and put it under the linkage box that's underneath the bike. And we'll try to get this rear wheel off the ground a little bit. So I have the rear wheel free, so I'm going to go ahead and tap the axle out. And this doesn't come out as easy as the front, so you'll probably need to use a way to penetrate through that swing arm there, which once you get it through, the bike's going to cock over a bit, so kind of just wiggle the wheel and get the weight off of that so it's not pinching the axle bolt, and then slide it all the way through. And I'm just going to let the adjusters kind of hang there, and I believe the caliper is on a bracket that just slides in there. It's kind of an old school style. And then on the other side, I'm going to take my chain off the sprocket. And then with that, your wheel should come right out. And as with the front, more so with the rear, I want to make sure that all these pieces stay in place, but at the same time, I want to make sure this sprocket is suspended properly and it's not just hanging by the line. So I'm going to get my two spacers out of the wheel, put them back on the axle, thread the axle back through the caliper, back through the swing arm, and back through the two adjusters. And then I'm going to take my nut and then keep the whole thing tidy and clean so those kids don't get it, and for you guys so you don't lose them. And then that is it. Your rear wheel is off.